Alright, you'll see where I am tomorrow. I walked around for a really long time today just to explore. Also walked around for a really long time to get away from the sun and the wind and the bees. They're everywhere. So this is where I'm filming this scene. I don't think you can tell where I am unless you've been here probably. Someone wanted me to talk about the difference between time and rake. There are some games in poker you pay time. When the dealer sits, new dealer sits every half hour. When the dealer sits, everyone pays. And you pay X dollars per player per half hour to play the game. A lot of high stakes games are like this, maybe all of them. It's like almost unheard of for a $2 game, a $2 blind game to be like this. Peppermill in Reno was like this though. So that's why I mentioned it. Someone asked me to talk about it. So besides Peppermill, which is apparently every game, the only other 2-5 game I know of, the only other $5 big blind game I know of that does this is Borgata. It's rare even at the $5 big blind level. It's usually 5-10 and above. So the difference is the pros, the cons. I wrote a few things down. First thing here, it's a lot easier on the dealer. So from the dealer's perspective, it's easier. You sit down, you take X dollars per player. That's how it's normally done. And then that's it. You don't need to be counting the pot the rest of the time. You don't need to be taking money out of the pot and putting it down the rake chute the rest of the time. If it's $7 per player per half hour, for instance, you sit down, before you deal the first hand, you take exactly $7 from each player and whatever that total is. Say there's 8 players at the table. 8 times 7 is 56. You put all $56 in one stack on top of the rake chute, and at some point during that down, the floor will come over, verify that it's 56, you drop it, and that's the end of it. So it's very easy on the dealer. Like there are times, especially dealing like cash Omaha 8 at Orleans, you need to keep track of the pot to take the promo money out of the pot. Then you need to continue keeping track of the pot to take the rake out of the pot, because that's a bigger number. After what, $30, you're done taking promo money at Orleans now. You need to keep counting for $50 to take maximum rake out, and then you need to keep counting to see whether it's a kill or not. In Omaha 8, if the pot passes a certain dollar threshold and a player scoops, wins the high and the low, or if no low is possible, just wins the high, then it's a kill pot, and the next hand is slightly higher stakes. So you need to keep track of the pot for like a really long time. Sometimes it doesn't end. In the 15-30 game, the kill is at 200. So you need to continue to keep track of the pot until the pot gets to 200. Then you can stop. Then all the promo money is gone. Then all the rake is gone. And then you know if someone scoops, it's a kill. But like, you need to keep track of the pot for a long time. So when you're taking when you're taking time, not rake, you sit down, you take it, that's the end of it. You don't need to take it anymore. The Peppermill $2 big blind game is odd because it's usually games that don't have promos, like Bellagio 5-10. So the dealer sits, takes money from everybody, that's it. There's no counting the pot the rest of the down. There's no promo in Bellagio, and there's no more taking rake out of the pot. You took it already. So the dealer doesn't need to keep track. So for one, from the dealer's perspective, it's easier, but it's also good for the players because there's not as much for the dealer to do. So in theory, it's a lot more efficient, and the dealer should be able to get more hands out. So there's that. Next thing I wrote down, this is interesting. So it's, do you have a slow dealer or do you have slow players? Because if you're taking money as soon as the dealer sits, that's good for the house if the players are acting very, very slowly. And in what, it was 2023, I think, or 2024, in I think 2023 in Bally's, the 3-5 cash games during the World Series, players were tanking so much that they were considering not doing rake, doing time instead, because they were getting so few hands in per 30 minutes per hour. They were taking so little in rake, and the tables were not making much for the casino, for the poker room, because players were taking so long to act. So if the players are taking a really long time to act, if it's extreme, yeah, let's just have the dealer sit down, take the money, and the players could take as long as they want. They could tank so much for fun that they only get 3 hands in per 30 minutes. Who cares? We're taking time as soon as the dealer sits down. Whatever happens after that, who cares? We took the money already. If And now the other side, if it's a slow dealer, what about the player's perspective? So if it's a slow dealer, the players shouldn't like taking time, because I've counted sometimes and only gotten like 8-9 hands per 30 minutes, which is abysmal. So if you're paying as soon as the dealer sits, and then the dealer is really slow, really lackadaisical, doesn't care, and makes a ton of mistakes, that's terrible. Like, you're not really getting your money's worth. If the dealer is very fast and efficient, then it's a good deal for the players. You sat down, you paid a small, almost nominal amount, and then the dealer's getting a lot of hands out, and that's a good thing. So if it's like an average dealer, it's like whatever. If it's a slow dealer, you might not be happy paying time as the player. If it's a really fast dealer, you should love paying time. You're really going to get your money's worth. So are the players acting slowly or quickly, or are the dealers performing slowly or quickly? And you might not like that they're doing time, you might like that they're doing time. So there's both sides of that. It's almost a necessity in the bigger games to do it, because like they don't want $1 chips in play. So say it's almost pointless. I don't know how it started. I'd love to know the history of it, but like, you know, Bellagio now, it's $6 in the games that are Rake, it's $6 maximum, and it's 10%. So if the pot is anywhere between 10 and 19, $1 gets taken out. If it's anywhere between 20 and 29, $2 get taken out. And once you get up to 60, $6 get taken out, and that's the end of it. 60 to infinity, $6 gets taken out. That's when the dealer stops thinking about it. So in a 5-10 game, it's almost instantly anyway. Like if there's a raise, if you see a flop, because there's no Rake taken in the Rake games in Bellagio, for example, if there's no flop. So in 5-10, yeah, you could raise to 20, but like the minimum raise is probably going to be to 30. So if one person calls, if just two people put in the 30, well, the pot is at least at 60, maybe even more with some dead money. And then it's almost like every single hand you're taking the 6 out anyway. So it's like, I don't know, it's either no Rake or maximum Rake. There's really no in between. 1-3 in Bellagio, yeah, there are plenty of hands where they take out 1. There are plenty of hands where they take out 2. There are plenty of hands where they take out 3. And it's not only max Rake. In the 5-10 game, it would be. So that's one reason why in bigger games, like why bother if a hand actually happens? Unless it's raised, everyone folds. They're getting to max Rake anyway. So instead of having the dealer do this every single hand, let's just take it in the beginning. Also, you probably don't want the $1 chips in play. That would just slow things down. So in 5-10 in Bellagio, it's a good example for all these reasons. You might see $1 chips on the table. They're not in play under any circumstance. The players have them to tip the dealers, tip the waitresses, and pay time. Because, I mean, the dealer will have some ones in the rack if you need to pay $7 for time when the dealer sits, and you don't have any $1 chips. You give the dealer a $10 chip. That's the main chip used in Bellagio 5-10, the orange $10 chip. Okay, the dealer will make change for you, and you know, after making change, you'll have exactly 7 in front of you, and then the dealer will take 7 from every player. Bees, all right. I don't like bees. All right. So yeah, so $1 chips aren't in play. So if you're doing Rake in 5-10, if you're taking a portion of every pot, then like there would be some instances, in theory, where you have $1 chips in play. Say someone raised to 20 and the big blind called, and then the small blind is the dead $5. So the pot's 45, and say that's the end of it. Then there's a bet and the other guy folds. So you would need to take $4 out of that pot. So you would need to take a $5 chip and change it for 5 ones, and then take 4 of those down the Rake chute, and now there's a $1 chip in the pot which doesn't play, which is weird. So you don't want chips in the pot that don't play. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. So you avoid that by doing time. So I understand why it happens in the bigger games, because almost every pot would be max Rake anyway, and because you don't want the ones in play. And they're like huge games in Bobby's room. They don't call it that anymore. In Ivy's room, they don't call it that anymore. Where the Rake is just like $250 per down. And what they do, this is what we did. I played 5-10 in MGM Springfield when I played poker in 7 states in one 24-hour period. I played whatever was open, MGM Springfield, my Massachusetts play of the day, played 510. It was something like that. I don't remember the number, but it was like X dollars per down. It was like 200 or 250. And whoever won the first pot that was over 500, it was some rule like that. Whoever wins the first pot over 500, the rake gets taken out of that pot. So you just avoid having $1 chips in play, having low denomination chips in play, even at 510. Of course, bigger games, but even at 510, you don't want that. So I understand why time happens all the time in bigger games. It's rare to see it in 2-5 in Borgata. It was rare to see it in the $2 big blind game in Peppermill. But yeah, like, I don't see it. This wasn't really like, should we have it or not? I totally understand why it happens in the bigger games. Said that a few times. Would I want to see it in the lower games? I wouldn't want to see it in the lower games. Yeah, it would be easier on the dealer, but a lot of players who are playing the lowest stakes don't even know rake is coming out of the pots. Some people are surprised when like it hits them, like, are we playing this game for free? And then someone tells them no, and like points to the rake shoot and the promo drop. And yeah, so if you made it time, it would just be like very, very obvious it's happening. I think it might turn people off a little. Like, they either don't know it's happening, or even after you explain it, they don't really think about it because they're just like playing hands and they get pushed to pot. There's never an instance where a dealer sits and says like, give me money, you need to pay in order to play this game. So I think that would turn a lot of people off from the lowest stakes. And yeah, the good thing is, people who leave forever, you still take it. At Peppermill, there were people who weren't there for the first hand of the new dealer. The dealer reaches across and takes the money. Like, you're not getting out of it by going to the bathroom or like pretending to go to the bathroom, or, you know, pulling like a Larry David or George Costanza, and when you see the check coming in the restaurant, you pretend you have to go to the bathroom to get out of paying it. Nothing like that. So they're taking it. So yeah, you're kind of like penalizing the people who love leaving forever, because at least you're still taking their money. They're still paying to play, even if they're not at the table. Still, I would like their chips to get picked up, and let's get a player who actually wants to be at the table and actually play poker. But whatever, I don't see it going to the lowest stakes. It's really rare at Peppermill in that 0-2 game, and I don't see it happening, and I wouldn't want to see it happen. So there are some pros, some cons, some factors, some characteristics, some thoughts, and yeah, I don't expect it to like trickle down to all stakes, nor would I want to see it trickle down to all stakes. And remember, rice is a spoon food.